Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a 5-minute guide for the Lost Vikings. First of all, let's go over the maps you want to play Lost Vikings on. These are actually all maps except Tomb of the Spider Queen. Here is some gameplay for you guys, and I'll explain why you want to play the Lost Vikings on certain maps and why you'd rather don't on the others. You might already have noticed that the Lost Vikings are quite unique in the sense that you actually have 3 heroes which you have to control instead of 1. Each individual Viking can be selected with 1, 2 and 3, and if you want to select all Vikings you just press 4. Since you'll be controlling 3 heroes instead of 1, this is where you want to create your advantage for your team. This is done by splitting up your Vikings and take experience in all lanes. Now, how is that advantage created for your team? Well, people will be fighting over these objectives on maps, and you'll be staying in these lanes and just taking the experience. While people are fighting over those objectives, you are still gathering the experience and thus creating a level lead for your team. You may noticed in this gameplay that there was actually a tribute spawn, and while my team and the enemy team were fighting over it, I had control over all lanes and was just gathering experience there. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the part that is the hardest and you have to get used to on playing the Lost Vikings is controlling each individual Viking. The most optimal way for controlling your Vikings is as following. Just double tap the hotkey for one of your Vikings and you'll be brought instantly to one of your Vikings. When you're done performing an action on that Viking, just put that Viking back into a brush. In this manner your Viking is still in that lane and it's easy to pick up where you left, and while standing in the brush that Viking is still getting experience in the lane. At the same time, when you leave a Viking in a brush, it's one of the most optimal ways to deny experience from your opponents, since the minions will be killing each other. The next most optimal way is of course pushing the minion wave in the towers so that you deny that experience. It will take some games to get used to this hero, but in my opinion it's well worth it because the Lost Vikings are darn fun to play. Now let's go over the talent and the skills and the general build you will be going for, because well actually there isn't much variation for the Lost Vikings. As you start a new game, you will only have one ability, and this is your Z ability. And this ability will grant you a huge amount of movement speed for only a few seconds. This ability can be used for getting out of sticky situations and, well, chasing people down. The first talent you will be choosing is Viking Horde, and Viking Horde grants you increased health regeneration per picked up health globe. Now, since you'll be gathering these health globes in each lane, you can imagine this can get quite out of hand. I find myself having 40 plus stacks at the end of a game. The second talent you will be picking is Spin to Win. This will be your first actual ability and it helps dealing with minion waves, but also deals quite a lot of damage to enemy champions. Remember that pressing this ability will perform the action on all Vikings. So, for instance, on Blackheart Bay, when you are turning in your coins, it will actually interrupt your turn in. The third talent and second skill will be Jump. This allows you to break CC and dodge a lot of AoE damage. Your heroic ability will be Longboat Raid, and this ability is awesome, because it will not only deal tons of damage, it will also give you another health bar. Remember that you need to have all Vikings selected and all Vikings in the same area to activate this ability. This can be quite tricky in some situations. Your talent at level 13 will be Impatience is a Virtue, and this is basically battle momentum only then for the Lost Vikings. Which is awesome because you'll have more spin to wins, more jumps, more ultimates and basically more awesomeness. At level 16 you will be choosing Norse Force, and Norse Force is a great ability. It gives you a quite huge shield for 7 seconds and it basically helps with your survivability in team fights. Last but not least, at level 20 you want to increase your heroic ability, because your Throw Bolt will not now only target one enemy hero, but it will target 2 enemy heroes. Now, as you can see in the gameplay behind me, well, this game is already over. We have a 3 level advantage, and this was purely created by me by staying in the lanes, gathering the experience and allowing my team to have an advantage in the team fights that followed. Now, given not all games will go as flawlessly as this one, but you get the idea. Before saying goodbye to you folks, as you might have noticed, this is my first video and I would really like it if you leave some feedback behind. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more quick guides in the near future, please follow me. I really hope you have fun playing the Lost Vikings, and as always guys, stay fabulous!